Ni testar att prata lite så vi ser att videon, att det går ut i sändningen också.
Ja,
Där.
pratar jag. Du vet vad du gör, Hugo, när du ber oss prata. Du kanske aldrig får stopp. Det kan vara det sämsta du har gjort.
Precis.
Det är nog snarare tvärtom sen. Nu räcker det.
Nu syns ni i alla fall. Superbra.
Underbart. So, hello and welcome to this year's edition of Science Park Update 2021. In a 2.5-hour field program, we will give you an overview about what is happening in the innovation ecosystem of Linköping and East Sweden. And we will start off with an expert panel on the industry and business community that represents our municipality and region. And with me, I have Louise Feldin, Director of Economic Development from Linköping Municipality, Rickard Widén, Regional Development Director of the region of East Sweden, and Frida Boklund, Regional Manager Östergötland, the Swedish Federation of Business Owners. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, first question, how is the business community of Linköping and the region doing? And let's start with you, Louise.
Okay, thank you. If we take a helicopter view, the business community of Linköping have coped
fairly well, I would say. We usually say that around 50% have seen their revenues decrease from moderate to dramatical levels, but the other half of the business community had actually seen revenues in line with 2019 or even better. And I would say that that is a result of both the powerful national support packages, of course, but also that we are fortunate in Linköping to have this very strong tech community. Many companies in the forefront of tech, digitech, that are actually meeting the needs of customers and markets. That is a short version. Zooming in, the picture, of course, becomes more fragmented, depending on industry and market.
Yes, very interesting. And from a regional perspective, Rickard, would you agree with Louise, or could you add something to that description?
Yes, I do agree. We get the same picture when we look at the whole territory. Both companies that has been heavily affected by the pandemic, but also companies and businesses doing unaffected or even doing better than before the pandemic. If we look at some numbers, we don't see any more companies going bankrupt during 2020 than compared to the year before. So far, it's on the same level, and also when we look at unemployment, we can see it's up 11%. About 2,000 more people are out of jobs than 1 year ago. But in a national perspective, the same number is 22%. So that would indicate, in my mind, that the structure of the region and the trade structure is more robust and more adaptive to the challenges. So I do agree with the same picture.
Quite promising. So let's move over to Frida. You have more of a cross-regional perspective and maybe also a national perspective on this question, gathering the business owners.
Yes, and I can see that Östergötland has done well, but of course, thanks to all the support. But if I compare Östergötland to other regions, it is much better here. I mean, there is a lot of companies that have started new companies within the companies with new brands and stuff. And you don't see that in the other regions where I manage. So I think it is better in Östergötland, actually, because I mean we will talk about it, because it's more of an innovation community and things that makes, because it's always winners in kind of pandemics or whatever happens. But Östergötland has more winners right now than losers, and that's good for the future.
Wow, that's really interesting and great news, I would say. And I know that we often talk about the local and regional business being a mixture of different sectors. Do you think this would be one of the explanations that we are more robust and resilient? Or should we talk a little bit about how is the setting of the different industry sectors in this region? Who would like to start? Yeah,
that's one of the main things that are good. I mean, it's so exciting because there's so many new young ideas that becomes a reality, and the great companies or the old companies will pick them up. The bad thing will be that the young companies doesn't grow and become old, but we have a thought of the old companies taking care of young ideas and do something with them, and that's very good. And I think that really makes Östergötland, like a level that it's never going up and down. It's calm, and I think for business it's good.
Okay, interesting. Louise, what is your perspective?
Yes, I think it's a strength for us to have this, as you say, the good mix of different sectors in our community, and to, as you said, reduce to raise our resilience and reduce the risks. But it's also, I think, a possibility. I mean, if we look at the industry that had been really affected by restrictions, but also of new consumer behavior, they are all dependent on people being present. I mean, it's people and customers being present, like, of course, hospitality, the whole hospitality industry, cultural industry, event industry. Those are the companies that really are been affected and are bleeding, and it's also here we have seen bankruptcies. On the other hand, the upside is that we have seen an acceleration of digitalization, digital business models, sustainable transition, and so on. And here we have the competence in our own region. We have all these innovation clusters, and we have companies. So I hope that we can work together to join these different sectors, better incorporating with each other and lifting each other. I see stuff are really going on right now. I know you are discussing yourself cooperation with Visit, our destination company. Yeah. So I think it can open up possibilities also.
Let's get back to that also. Let's hear what Rickard had to say. Louise is mentioning the commerce, the tourism and event industry, like being at stake here. Would you agree from a regional perspective?
Definitely. But again, I think we see a mixed picture here. We see an uptake in certain areas and challenges in other areas at the same time. So I think it's too early to draw any big conclusions. But I think one major strength and what we also see is the ability to adapt, to find new business models or find new models for delivering your service, or using digital technology, and so on. And from a personal perspective, I also think it's interesting to see that we as consumers are adapting these new ways of doing things in a very fast way, picking up food or doing meeting each other in different ways than we did just a few months before. So I wouldn't dare to say that's different in other parts of the country, but I think that's really a strength for us here in Östergötland and in Sweden, the ability to adapt and to find new ways. And I think that's really the basics for entrepreneurship.
And what are your reflections in what Louise is mentioning, being a region with the strength within digitalization and new technologies? What do you see in kinds of possibilities for the future?
I mean, it's definitely one of the strongest areas for the region to build on in the future, and I think this transition going more digital and also will mean that the need for digital solutions will expand globally. So that's I think positions Östergötland in a good spot to be, but it's also important that we frame these opportunities now and make the best of it when the opportunity comes. So I think we can see that we can use the basis that has been developed over a long period of time and now turning into an opportunity.
Thank you. And Frida, you were talking a little bit about what we call corporate innovation, where the big companies use the startups to get more innovative and build competitiveness for the future. I was a bit disturbed when you said this means that they are being bought and maybe disappears from the market, because we all strive to get them to grow and become bigger companies and employers in Sweden. Is there anything you see that we can do more of to support more businesses growing with Sweden as their market?
I think there is a national framework that has to be taken care of. And it's always somehow ends up in finance. It's expensive to develop and to grow. And it's always there is a magic limit about 10 employed, and then you don't know what happened. It's like, and that's for all of Sweden, but I can see in Östergötland that these companies are for sale, and I can see that, and that's a pity, I think, because I think we need more new Swedish companies that grow and become very big.
And would you agree with me when you are talking about the national framework, but I would actually say it's a European framework that needs to...
Probably more like that, yes.
And maybe more of an internal European market to support this development. Yeah. So, Louise, what can you see in terms of possibilities for the future? You were talking a little bit about digitalization and the strength we have as a municipality and as a region, but what about 2021? What are the foresights?
Well, as you know, we have recently launched an AI node in this region, and I really hope that it will benefit companies and, of course, public sector, and will become the area where we can meet and discuss possibilities within AI and other technologies. Using these areas to meet, these environments to meet and develop together, I hope more for that. And also, of course, from the municipality side, we have launched a variety of support packages towards our local business community. And we will, of course, continue with that. We have launched a lot of packages during 2020, and there will be more to come. One of them is Kickstart Linköping. It's targeting the hospitality community, and it's a possibility for companies to actually apply for finance up to 500,000 per company to develop their new product. And here I hope for digital solutions, digital products.
Great, thank you. And Rickard, what are your foresights for this upcoming year?
Well, I have to start on the somewhat gloomier side. We have to get through the pandemic. That's the number one priority. I think we're hopeful with the vaccine and everything, but it's going to take time. So that's the first point. The second point is, I think that a lot of us are thinking that we have to find a new normal, the new normal status when we come through the pandemic, and restart what we're doing, trying to take with us what we've learned through the pandemic and do things differently, not going back to the way it was. I think this is a great opportunity to restart doing things in a more sustainable way and thinking in new lines. So that's what we're trying to enforce during this year.
And what will the region do to support that work?
It's fairly in the same line as Louise is mentioning for Linköping. We're doing projects and other. We just lost the word here.
Initiative cluster.
Initiative, thanks you. Initiatives for the hospitality sector, but also strengthening the innovation system and the different platforms for the regional strength areas, for the smart specializations areas, to find an even better structure for helping businesses to grow and innovations to grow in our region and stay in our region, with the finance as a basis. So it's pretty much doing what we've been doing together for a number of years now, and enforcing it even more. So that's our focus.
Thank you so much. And to wrap it up, Frida, what do you see and what do you hope for us to do?
I hope we will continue with the digitalization, because I think that is a key for a lot of new businesses and new contacts and new networks. So I hope more and speed that up.
So thank you so much, all of you, for giving us these insights and the overview of the business community in Linköping and East Sweden. And there are actually a number of companies that have chosen Linköping to take their business here. So let's meet a few of them. We will meet Organic Response, FortKnox, and Maxar in this previewed pre-interviews. Thank you. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Amanda Lundqvist. I would describe myself with my title, Master of Science in Engineering, but I'm also very much as a person drawn to creativity, like arts and music. And I've been living in Linköping since about 2.5 years back, and I really enjoy the city. I'm here today as I am the site manager for Organic Response, also called OR Technologies. But I'm actually working for HiQ, so there's a cooperation between the two to start up a competency center here in Linköping. So what is Organic Response? Well, it's about smart lighting systems and other IoT solutions as well. It's these sensors that you can see in the pictures. They're integrated in the luminaires from the factory. And it's plug-and-play system, so you just connect them to like a regular wall socket, and they start to communicate with each other in a mesh, like a distributed intelligence system. And this optimizes the lighting based on presence in the room, and also neighboring luminaires and ambient light levels as well, so that if it's a sunny day, then it will be it dimmers automatically. And you can also divide the luminaires into different zones. So if you're in a room and you still would want it to be a light out in the corridor, for example. So the communication also goes through walls and doors. And the reason for this system is, of course, the comfort. They want the right light levels to be right for our well-being, but we also want to reduce electricity consumption. And the system also consists of an app in which you can set the light levels for the different for one luminaires or for many luminaires at once. And you can also connect with a gateway to a portal, so that you can see on the web which space has been utilized most, and energy usage as well. And you can do fault monitoring, and you can see also get information about the maintenance if you need to change any luminaires or such. And the whole system can also be integrated into another BMS, building management system. So why are we in Linköping? Because the company Organic Response actually started in Melbourne, Australia. But a couple of years ago, it was bought by the Fagerhult Group, who saw the need for a competency center here in Europe to have both development and support. And they were looking at many different countries and cities in Europe to where we should have this competency center. And they were looking at like communications and how the area is in engineering and such. But the main things was to look at the focus on sustainability and IoT. How the area is working with IoT solutions. And so one of the main reasons why we actually ended up here in Linköping is the work that you do in Science Park with sustainability, with the reducing of emissions of carbon dioxide and the IoT. This is why one of the reasons your work is one of the reasons why we ended up in Linköping. So I believe that's all for me. Thank you. Have a good day.
My name is Svante Erving. I am product manager at FortKnox, and we are launching a site here in Linköping as of this year, actually. FortKnox is, when it started, it was a bookkeeping software online, actually the first, I think, in Sweden of its kind. And over time, it has developed into a number of different product areas, where I'm responsible for one of them, and that's what we're building here in Linköping. With all the unique competences that we find here. We have a large group working with IA technologies and looking into machine learning to be able to predict how you should work with your bookkeeping or how you should share information. So there are a lot of interesting areas where I think Linköping and the university has a lot of things to offer for us as a company. The product area that I'm responsible for is called Connect, and we are focusing on connecting people with services, services with services, and services with data, which means that we want to enable an environment where anyone running a company can move in a digital environment seamlessly, single sign-on between different applications, and we want them to be able to share documents with other people, be able to sign documents, to receive letters from the authorities. So it's sort of a flow of information that we want to enable. And since we're establishing here in Linköping right now, we have a unique opportunity to actually design things from the very beginning. We're still at a stage where we draw things and try to figure out sort of the best way to implement things. I think that's a unique opportunity for any developer to be able to join that. First of all, of course, I'm based in Linköping and I have really good connections with the large management group at FortKnox in Växjö. So there's a natural connection there, and Tommy Eklund, who is the head of the company, is also from this area with a lot of good connections to both companies that work with FortKnox and people that can contribute to our software development. Linköping has a lot of good developers and a lot of good research within different fields that we are interested in, anything ranging from economics to machine learning, AI technologies. So that will definitely be something that we benefit from when we establish here in Linköping. I think what we need is, of course, a healthy environment of companies that sort of starts up and needs both our services but also each other. FortKnox is really big on integrations, which means that we promote other software vendors to develop really good features. Anything that you can contribute with, where we can all meet. Places like this, where we are today at Do Space, where different companies actually get to meet on an everyday basis, share experiences and sort of bring up new ideas. That's really valuable. I've been, during my time here in Linköping, at several of these locations that the city has provided, and they're extremely valuable and a really good way to be able to find new opportunities.
Hello, I'm Leif Haglund. I'm Managing Director for Maxar in Linköping, which mainly is an R&D part. We are currently about 60 employees. I'm looking forward to 2021 when we will expand with somewhat like 15 more people, and also moving to Epipark. We are working with the multi-view stereo to build the globe in 3D, a digital twin of the globe, of the Earth, in 3 dimensions. In Linköping, we are working with this technology, so it's a lot of image processing, It's a lot of sensor modeling to understand exactly what the pixels in the image has seen, physical modeling in the atmosphere. So market-wise, we are working on the professional market, mainly I would say defense and intelligence, but also on telecommunication. And working in development countries for map generation, where they don't have any updated maps. We are a spin-out from Saab. 2015 there was a joint venture between Saab and Maxar, and last summer 2020 Maxar bought 100% of the company. The reason for still being in Linköping is then that there is a good university, there is a good possibility to attract talent. Linköping as a city is also quite good for the ones that doesn't want to live in a larger city, but still large enough to really have a dynamic work environment for the employees. We should also, of course, say that the part of what we're doing here is visualization. So the 3D data needs to be easy to consume, and that requires a really good and effective 3D visualization, or 4D in the next step. And that's something we have been working on for 10 years as well, and we are really good at that. And of course, that history, which I myself was part of, for instance, in the 80s, in image processing, in Linköping, visualization in Norrköping is absolutely the talents we want to attract, and also more general signal processing, which has a really big impact on Linköping University for many years. So I think the university is extremely important for that, keeping up good talents in the research environment, but the absolutely most important thing is to have a good basic education, produce, if that's a good word, Master of Science, Master of Engineering, people that is willing to take challenges and see the future and find new ideas, which I can't really foresee, but we have just started this. What we do now is the base foundation, and then we need to find applications on top of that, and that's a lot of that will be the new engineers and the research that will generate that. And Linköping, if Linköping keeps its position as a visualization and image processing center, absolutely, that's the most important. As a city, of course, you can go to politics. It should be a city that attracts talents outside of Linköping as well. You want to move here. It should be good basic education. It should be a safe place to live in. Sort of the basic things there as well. If we find somebody in Lund or just Gothenburg or Munich or where the main office of Maxar is in Colorado, they want to move to Sweden. That should be. They should look for Linköping and say, "Oh, this is a good place." So it's absolutely important that the general picture of Linköping is a great one. Also, that if Linköping is attractive in the ways I've just mentioned, that will also attract more companies in Linköping, or company growth for the existing companies, and that in turn will be a positive spiral. You can attract talents from other companies. Unfortunately, we have to leave some then as well, but that dynamic is in general extremely positive.
So great. Thank you so much for that presentation. And it's good to hear Amanda, Svante, and Leif sharing their experiences and stories. So Linköping is attracting new businesses, but Linköping is also an attractive city to start your company. And we are known to be a very vibrant startup stage here in Linköping. And with me to talk about the startup climate and to discuss what actually characterizes Linköping as this startup community, I have 3 representatives from 3 different startups. It's Jonas Engstrand, CTO and co-founder of Findcell, Isak Nielsen, founder and CEO at Agrioff, and Jörgen Ahlberg, co-founder at Gilana Sensors. So let's start with you, Jonas. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, Findcell.
Yeah, so my name is Jonas Engstrand, and as you said, I'm the CTO and co-founder of Findcell. I have a master's degree from Linköping University, actually. So I'm also born and raised from this region. And what we at Findcell do, we produce the next generation of bio-based materials, micro and nanocellulose, and we produce them from Swedish wood pulp using our revolutionizing patented technology. And our dry microcellulose powder, it can be used to increase the mechanical properties of bioplastics or ocean plastics so that these sustainable and circular materials can be used in a wider selection of applications, which then in turn can outcompete the fossil-based ones. And we also have a product called nanocellulose hydrogel, and it can be used to replace materials like silicone in cosmetics, for example, which in turn will help us to reduce the amount of microplastics that get into the ocean when you remove your cosmetics or something. So to sum it up from Findcell, we enable a bio-based future.
Wonderful. And this sounds very much aligned with the goals to become carbon neutral and drive energy efficient innovations.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. And then we also have Isak Nielsen from Agrioff, and you work with digitalizing the agriculture sector, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And my name is Isak Nielsen, and I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Agrioff. And I also have a background from Linköping University. I took my master's degree there and also continued did my PhD studies. So I'm well known with the university. And at Agrioff, we build what we call the digital assistant Freya for creating an efficient and sustainable crop farming. And Freya is a digital cloud service that combines farmer experiences and data using tailored AI algorithms to optimize crop farming. And what we do is that we help farmers increase their profitability at the same time as we are increasing their sustainability and help them to give less negative impact on the climate. And already today we are creating a huge value for farmers by helping them automate this process of transforming data in agriculture into actionable insights in a time-efficient way. For example, we could help farmers do fertilization better, or put the right amount of seeds on the fields, for example. But in a longer perspective, we are actually building the agronomic brain that it will be needed to unlock the future of autonomous crop farming. So that is super interesting. And we started in 2018. Today we have 7 people on the team, and we are part of the business incubator lead in Järvi, which I think everyone is familiar with. And last year we were selected as one of the best 33 tech startups in Sweden and one of the Europe's top AI startups as well. And we were also nominated to the Elmia Innovation Award, which is sort of the finest prize in agriculture. So that's something we are very happy for.
Wow, amazing. You make us so proud. Wonderful. So moving over to Jörgen Ahlberg, and you represent kind of a new technology with hydrospectral cameras. Please tell us about yourself and your company.
Myself, I moved to Linköping to enter the university, and I'm still here after getting my master and my PhD degrees. Been involved then in R&D in a few companies in town and organizations. And now me and some friends started this company, Gilana Sensors. Gilana is the obvious if you're a Östgöte. It's a
Maybe you would like to explain that to our international viewers.
Oh, okay. So Gilana, I'm not really from this region originally myself, but it's sort of local word for staring. And when we make a staring camera in contrast to the existing one that starts scanning, let's see one line, we see an entire image. And the kind of cameras we're working with, they are not, as the human eyes are, limited to seeing red, green, and blue wavelengths, but they see a lot of different wavelengths. So we can see the difference between green and green. For example, between different plant species, we can see, you can use it to see if a plant is stressed due to insects, for example, or bad nutrition, and to see the difference between real vegetation and camouflage, and a lot of things like that. Not only green things, the green was an example. So our goal is to build sensor technology that can give the input to, for example, systems like Isaac up there is developing.
Wonderful, great. And you represent like energy efficiency, material, agriculture, and new technology. And would you like to agree that that characterizes the startup stage of Linköping, or is there more to it? What would you say, Jörgen? You are involved in a couple of other companies as well. What would you say characterizes the companies sprung out of Linköping University and the Business Incubator Lead?
Well, for me, it's from the viewpoint I have, is a lot about sensors, vision, AI, and visualization, these kinds of technologies that that has been so incredibly useful the last decade. If you go back 20 years, there were a lot of ideas, but not so many of them were actually useful in practice. And now it has exploded and been renamed AI. That's, since I come from that part of the technology, that's also what I see. And I see there are so many things.
Great. And Isaac, what is your perspective on the startup stage and how it's built up?
I agree with Jörgen. I mean, it's a lot of deep tech companies at lead, something we see. And for us, it's kind of interesting to be in Linköping because we are in the area of deep tech and agriculture, which has some special sort of say problems because I mean technology and agriculture are quite far apart sometimes, and for us it has been really nice to be part of the deep tech community in Linköping Science Park, as well as the agriculture community out at Vreta Cluster outside of Linköping. And we have also been part of the eSweden Game community to look at how to build high-tech solutions in a very easy-to-use manner. So for us, it's been a real interesting combinations of network around Linköping.
Great. What is your experience, Jonas? Can you share some?
Yeah, of course. I actually started within the startup businesses in April last year. So during this year, I've had the I think it's a very diverse and spread which companies we have in lead. We have both. It's mainly focused on deep tech, but we have within agriculture, as you said, Isaac, and we have sensors. We have new materials like Luna Micro as well, who's creating pumps for the fabrics. And then we have us who creates sustainable materials for the future within plastics and cosmetics. So it's very diverse.
And a lot of medtech startups as well.
Yeah,
right?
medtech as well, yeah. And for us who's into materials, we also have the IMA here in Linköping, the Innovative Materials Arena, which also is very interesting for us and quite specific for the Linköping region. We have companies within the metallics, you have plastics, you have all sorts of new materials. So it's quite an interesting region to be in within the materials.
Wonderful to hear, because we heard the regional development manager, Rickard, talking about the smart specialization strategy. And you are mentioning quite a few of those strength areas. Material, we have clean tech, we have IoT and digitalization, we have visualization and image analysis, and we also have, which one is am I forgetting at the moment? No, I think I mentioned them all. So it's a very strong concept of different strength areas. And on top of that, we also have clusters like the aerospace cluster, of course, and the Vreta cluster with the green tech, and also Sweden Game, as you were mentioning. So there's a lot of great initiatives. Linköping as a startup region, what lies in the future if you would like to look into the future? Do you have any plans for the upcoming year, or is there any opportunities lying ahead for the startups in Linköping? Oh my God, you're very quiet.
I mean, for us, I would say that we're in a very expansive phase right now. So we want to sort of continue to build the company with Linköping as the main place for the company. And what we see is that, I mean, for us, it's a very good place to be because we are close to the customers and we are also close to the university where we have sort of the deep tech connection. So I would say that being part of Linköping is that is something that it will be important for Agrioff for a long time ahead to build a really great company.
It's great to hear that you are planning to grow and expand and continue working with Linköping as a base. We welcome that very much. What about Jörgen? What are the plans for the upcoming year?
Yeah, I mean, currently we are a little bit more in the early phase. We're developing our technology to be able to give proofs of concepts, but then of course our intention is to grow and be profitable and everything like that. And one of the purposes of starting the company was that we wanted this technology to actually stay here and not just sell off a patent or something to one of the much larger competitors around the world. For us, it's a no-brainer to be here because working with hyperspectral, it's not a very widespread technology. They work with that at FY, the Swedish Defense Research Agency, a little bit at some other universities, but it's having this combination of agriculture and defense and high-tech sensors. Well, it's here.
Wonderful. And to sum it up, Jonas, what lies ahead for Findcell?
Yeah, for Findcell, we are right now having our first investment round. So it's ongoing until March, April. And depending on the result from that one, it's a bit of a direction shower for us. But the intention is to be still in Linköping the upcoming at least 1 to 2 years. And then we'll see if we have some business partner or anything else that requires us to move the production at least. But maybe the seat of the company will still be in Linköping because we work for Findcell. We live here in Linköping and would like to stay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing. And many of you have mentioned the lead incubator, and let's meet the CEO, Gilana Sensors, and see what she has to tell us about the future plans for LEAD.
Yeah, hi. My name is Gilana Sensors, and I am the CEO here at LEAD. I've been here since 1.5 years. And during the last year, we at LEAD, as well as others, changed our entire business. And now we offer all our services and programs digitally. In some cases, we see that this has made us even more attractive. We get interest from startups as well as investors from other parts of Sweden to join our events now when they are in the digital world. So it's really easy to join. So that's one of the positive things with this year. But at the same time, we really miss the great community that we have in our premises, both in Linköping and Norrköping. And we are really looking forward to meet everyone face to face during this year, even though we know that we have to wait for a while.
So what have you learned during this year?
We have learned a lot, of course, going from physical meetings and physical programs into digital. We need to be much more sharpened and shorter, and how to interact in breakout sessions and the importance of that. But I also would say that we have learned that it's really important to meet face to face, and that's what we are missing nowadays. We see that that's a really big part of being in an incubator, getting the interaction face to face between more senior persons and the business coaches together with the more junior startups. And that's one of the things we really hope for to get back into, at least after the summer this year.
So
But still we see a huge we see a huge interest for LEAD, and even though it was a really strange year last year, we met over or around 100 new ideas. So we still see a huge interest, and that's great.
And if we look into the future, what do you expect from the coming year?
I expect quite a lot of business as usual, actually. But during the year we have had, we are already one of Sweden's absolute best incubators when it comes to tech and business to business. But during this year, we have also worked hard to include sustainability in our entire business development model and process. So in order to become actually a world leader in coaching sustainable companies that really can make a positive impact to the world. So we really want to work more with that during the coming year. And we have also strengthened our team with a new business coach, Anna Brynås, that's really skilled in everything that comes with sustainable and sustainability and business coaching around that. So we are really happy to have her on board now.
This focus on sustainability, how will that affect the companies, the startups?
I would say that it will strengthen them. We have done a bit of calculations together with RISE for a couple of our startups. And what we can see that for the companies that we have been making this calculation with, everyone is making a positive impact, and some of them are making a really huge positive impact if they will reach their goal. They can even lower the Swedish carbon dioxide. They can themselves lower the Swedish carbon dioxide with 25% if they reach their full potential. So we see that we can make really a big difference together with the startups if we start working with the sustainability goals early. And that will probably also make them stronger, and it will make it easier for them to attract investors later on. I would also take the opportunity to tell you about our Entrepreneur in Residence program. We are out now searching for new trainees until the program that will start in September. And we will also start the journey by looking after new technologies that can be worked with together with trainees. So both if you are a company with an idea that might be a new company, that you will have help with a trainee to explore more. If there is a market for it, then you can contact us. And if you're interested in being a trainee, then look into our website, because there you can read more about it. And we also are out with the Sommarmatchen at the moment. So we are searching for 10 research projects that will we will employ 20 students to work with the research projects during the summer. So we are out now searching for students for that.
Thank you very much, Katarina Sandberg, CEO of Lead Business Incubator, which are a wonderful environment to start your business. And we heard a lot of the startups talking about growing and expanding their businesses with Linköping as the environment for this. And we are not only a booming startup stage, but we also have a number of expanding businesses and growing scale-ups. And with me to present a little bit about what we do in this area, I have Anna Björklo, the CEO of Episide, and also Lisa Åbom, the CEO of Nera Dynamics. And let's see if she can put her camera on. Do we have you with us, Lisa? Okay, let's try to get Lisa join us. But let's start with you, Anna, and if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and the company Episide. You are muted, so you need to put on your mic, yeah?
Sorry.
Okay.
So, better now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I am the CEO of Episide, and I started at Episide October last year, so I'm quite new in this position. I have many years of experience in global manufacturing industries, and now I'm very happy to be able to contribute in Episide's exciting journey. We are in a very interesting stage in the company. We are going from a startup company into a scale-up company, and that is so exciting. We have actually the 2nd of February next week our official product launch of our first product.
Wow, and what's that product?
It's a big step for us, an historic day for Episide next Tuesday, so that we are very looking forward to. So the focus now is both internationalization, so we can grow our market and go beyond Europe into the whole world. And we also have the focus on industrialization, meaning that we are now building up capacity for our production, producing this new product, harvesting light. So it's an exciting time and the perfect timing for me to come into this company and really, it's a really exciting area. We would like to do everything right now, it feels like, in the company.
Wonderful. And could you please tell us a little bit about the product that you are launching, Harvest? Yeah.
We have 3 phases in our company, and the first phase where we have a product is a light energy harvesting module. So what we do is actually having a solar cell, but we call it a light cell. And that light cell can be used indoors. It's optimized for indoors application and to power sensors and small electronic devices. And by having this light sensor together with a capacitor, you can actually replace batteries that is used today. And we are living in the Internet of Things, and Internet of Things needs and requires a lot of sensors because you need to measure a lot and send that data into the cloud. And all these sensors need to have some kind of power management. And today we're using a lot of batteries. So our first product is to target the market indoors, actually.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Anna. It sounds really revolutionizing. And I know that also our next guest represents a company that is really revolutioning the mobility industry or former vehicle industry. Please welcome Lisa Åbom. Tell us about yourself and Nera Dynamics.
Thank you so much. And I hope the voice and the sound is good.
Yes.
Thank you. So yes, I represent Nera Dynamics. It's a company in Gärdevi. We were founded 2001 from research by Linköping University. And today we've grown to a company which has a bit over 100 employees. We have a turnover of 250 million. And our technology is installed in up to 65 million vehicles globally. So that's quite an achievement, I would say. But what I think is really, really cool is that we're now starting, by our innovation, we're starting to use the data that these vehicles are providing us. So we take that back and we're building up now a huge database with all the data and information from those connected vehicles that we are accessing. And through that, we can now start to also profit on the data that we have gathered. And the data will give us information on the roads, road friction, how should I say it, the quality of the roads. And that would be something that could be useful for companies that are working with maintenance of roads, for example.
Wonderful. So there's a lot of things that joins you. You come from the research of Linköping University with printed electronics and sensor technology. You are gathering a lot of data, both of you, and can operationalize that in terms of new business models. And you are targeting an international market. This is really amazing. Could you share, I know it's been quite an extraordinary year last year with a pandemic and everything, but are there any highlights from 2020 that you would like to share with us?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that from a company perspective is something to really highlight is that we managed to shift our focus. When we had to more or less go back home, we could do that very quickly. So more or less overnight, when it came to us that we really need to take this very serious on the pandemic, the entire company just walked home basically. And since March, we've been working from home. We've had a lot of discussions. Management is difficult. Leadership is difficult when you're working remotely. So we have a lot of discussions on how to make sure that our employees are actually still feeling well, even though that they're not having the social interactions. And it turns out that is really the challenge for us. We need to make sure that even though you're not perhaps seeing people in real life, you still need to focus on the well-being of our employees. So I think we've taken quite a few steps in actually understanding how to run a company which allows us to be very remotely and much more flexible.
Very interesting.
But I think I would also like to point out that really one of the big achievements for us last year was the fact that we're now seeing the data being flowing from all the vehicles that we have connected back to us, and we're starting to see this. We've been running a POC for quite a few years, proof of concept. With the data, but now we're seeing how the data is flowing and how the images that this will give us is actually starting to appear.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anna, any highlights from Episide?
Yes, of course, we were also affected by the corona infection. So we have actually two teams in our company. One team that has been working from home remotely, like our sales team and administration. But we have also had one team still working in our clean room and working with ramping up the capacity and continuing the research that we are still doing. So we have both managed to continue and achieve important milestones that was absolutely necessary for us, and still kept as much of our employees at home. And in the same way as Lisa are discussing, we have also learned a lot about digital events and so on. Yeah, it has affected us, but I think we have managed very well, I would say.
Wonderful. And what would you say as a scaling and growing company are the greatest challenges that you would like to share with us today?
Well, I believe that Linköping as an area is an excellent area to be within a startup company. I must say that, again, the university is so important. The Linköping Science Park is really important, and the lead is really been supportive to us. What I need to learn more is how Linköping can support us as a company, because now we are moving into growing quite fast facilities, not only offices, but also production facilities with clean room requirements, for example. And also Linköping is growing very fast. So we also need to secure that we have employees that are able to move here and to live somewhere. So I think really the growth of houses and apartments is also really important for the community. And on top of that, also securing that we can transport from office to customers in a sustainable way. And I must say that Linköping is really on the forefront of bicycles and those kind of ways to communicate. But it's important that you have the whole view of living and being in Linköping to be able to grow here. And our main task right now is actually facilities, to be honest.
Wonderful.
how to expand.
You are based in Ebbe Park.
Yes.
And Lisa, what about Nira?
I think I would like to build on what Anna was saying and focus on the resources and the competencies. Because for Nira, we have a tradition and we have a product portfolio that is really, really strong, and we have huge competencies in the area of like sensor fusion, signal processing, and all those things. Now we're expanding into this new data world, and we're starting to build much more interfaces utilizing the data and providing that information to our customers. So we're now actually shifting and expanding into a different kind of competence that we haven't really had before. And I think Linköping is a very good place to really, if you need new types of competencies, there is a good opportunity that those competencies are available in Linköping as well. So I think that is one of the things that is really important for a company like Linköping, that as we grow and as we are expanding and being innovative and perhaps moving into areas, still have the opportunity to find the right competence. That's important.
Wonderful. That sounded almost prepared, because our next step will be talking about talent in different ways. Thank you very much. And you are mentioning some of the great strengths that Linköping have, but also the challenges that lies ahead for us to stay competitive. One of the strongest thing we have is community, and we usually say community is everything. And last year we wrote a book about community, which is called Community, where we do a lot of different interviews with people from the community in Linköping, but also national representatives. And my colleagues Fredrik and Maja have went out and met 2 of the people who are interviewed in this book. So let's hear what they have to say.
Hi, I'm Salma, I'm 17. I'm studying IT, second year of high school. I connected with the park first when I don't know how old I was, but when they started with the summer camp, and from there it escalated. So I think I've participated 5 times in the summer camp. No, 4 times. I missed the one, yeah, so 4 times. 2 years ago, me and one of my friends designed or started programming an app which would let you decorate your room without decorating your room, so you can plan what you're going to do. We were in the Netherlands and we tried to find a solution for mobility in Vallastaden. So the event was about smart cities, so different teams had different tasks, but in the end we won best pitch, which was fun. We created a sort of reward system for exercising and moving, which would give you benefits or rewards of some kind. I had an internship here, which created a lot of happy memories that I have connected to the places, and also just I have an instant nostalgia from the camps and the first camp when I was small and 2 years ago when I was 15. It's because I've kind of grown up here in a sense. I mean, it's basically the reason I'm studying IT now. It's what got me into it. I had no idea what it was before, and also kind of showed me I had as a woman I also have a place in IT. It's something I can do as well. Ideally, I would like to work with robots and develop AI. It's beings, but not actually beings. It's gonna sound really awful, but you have full control over something that is almost alive. It's gonna sound horrible. Just having a computer think for itself, I find very fascinating. Yeah, so like further in 2021 in school, we're gonna start with web server programming, which I'm very excited about. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm looking forward to it. So when you look at people who works in IT and tech, you basically only see men, especially it's gotten a lot better now, but back when I was young, it isn't I had never my mom works in tech, but I didn't know she worked in tech, so I didn't really have anyone to look up to. But today I have role models like Gilana or the Congresswoman AOC.
See, that's a little not so good in light here. Let's try to improve it a little bit. I'm from Brazil, and I came in 2015. The first reason was the studies of my wife. She was doing the PhD, Sandwich, Brazil, and Sweden. So I came with her, and I also fulfilled an ambition I had about continuing studying. So I went to the master here in Linköping, master in strategy and management. Normally in Brazil, I was always engaged with different activities, working in volunteer organizations, associations, and so on. So I think naturally here I started looking for the same kind of activities. And one of the activities I found when navigating through MiarDevi webpage was this MiarDevi student board, for instance. This is one of the activities or communities that I joined, which I found relevant. The perception I have is that Linköping does a great job welcoming newcomers to the city, and how to do that better, I think continue the job as has been done. For instance, having content available in English, it's very important, especially in the beginning for people who arrive here, and also information available, what to do, where to find people, how to visit the city, how to enjoy the surrounding, why is it good to stay and live here, perhaps, things like that. But I think Linköping is doing a great job regarding this. That's my perspective. So one of them, this MiarDevi student board, it was nice. There is another program from the university where we got a host family, let's say like that. So it was also interesting. We had a person that contacted us, invited us for activities, going to watch orchestra, for instance, things like that together. It was also interesting, this one from the university. And also the life as a student while I was studying. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I recommend joining the student board, and concerning the activities, I have a good memory of course, our routine meetings. They were always interesting, because we got the chance to exercise leadership, for instance. Also, we got information about what was happening in Linköping and with the companies in the science park. Another activity from the board, which I think was nice, was visiting companies. I remember we visited Ericsson. We also had the chance to join in course. For instance, I remember one course offered by Linköping community for just to learn about how to be a member in a board of companies. So it was another interesting activity. But also the times we had like lunch together, fika, whatever these, let's say, more recreational activities, I also recommend. I still get in contact with the friends I made during that time. Well, that's a broad question. What's important when I think about where I want to work and live? I like that it's a vibrant environment, like, for instance, cities connected or close to universities, and a region that has innovative industries as well. I think that's important. Safe place, nice place. And another thing I always say about Linköping when I promote the city around, that's quite interesting, is such a small city in population comparing to Europe in general. But we even have like 2, depending 3 flights per day to a very big airport such as Amsterdam. That's I mean, it's amazing.
Wonderful. So the future looks bright when handing it over to people like Selma and Sean. And we also heard Lisa Åbom from Dynamics talking about the importance of getting to recruit internationally, not least when you can work from remote in a higher extent. And Linköping has a very great international talent hub. And with me to talk about this, I have 2 experts, Therese Lindqvist from the International Office at Linköping University, working as a project manager, and Lorna McGovern, who is the HR manager at SoftTube, one of our IT businesses here in Linköping. And so the international community, I mean, in the Science Park, we have more than 50 internationally based companies, more than 45 nationalities. And I know that Linköping University holds more than 2,000 international students and researchers. So let's begin with you, Therese. How do Linköping University recruit international talent? And in general, what do they apply for?
Well, in general, the region in itself is a great marketing tool. As mentioned before, we're a great innovation hub, and Sweden in general is known for very many different areas, sustainability, etc., and also our way of living, our social security, etc., is in itself sort of a marketing tool, way to attract international talent. But then, of course, the university does also efforts in recruiting in different fairs and these things out in the world, and now digitally as well, as you mentioned. And a lot that is requested is the industry connection. So in this sense, it's really important for the university and the industry to have this tight connection that we already do. So.
So can you tell us anything about how you support communication between students, international students, researchers, and the business community?
Well, I mean, our collaborations unit here at the university has a really strong connection to, for instance, the Science Park and other the bigger industries in the region. And for instance, when it comes to internships and thesis work,
for our master students to be able to get a connection to the industry. And of course, we work closely with our student unions that also offers work fairs to get a connection to the university. And us at the international office for our international talents, we offer a career support program for our international master students and PhD students for them to get prepared for the Swedish job market, because that differs quite a lot from other parts of the world. So we try to prepare them for a job out here in the region. So then they also get this industry connection as well. We have a tight collaboration with the Science Park and the region for this program. So that's very.
It is a very important job that you are doing. Do you know how many stays in Sweden or in the region from the international talent that come here?
Yeah, we get about, every year we get about 600-700 international master students, and statistically it shows that at least 60 or 70% want to stay. Yeah. So then of course we as a country or a region, we need to prepare the practicalities for them to be able to stay, and that comes all with migration and all these matters. So about 70% want to stay, and it's hard to say exactly how many stays, but it's definitely up there, and I think we could do even more to get even more percentage to stay.
It's a great pool of talent to tap into. Absolutely. So let's move over to Lorna, and please start off by introducing yourself and SoftTube, your company, and also tell us about why it's so important for you to attract international talent.
Sure. Hi, I'm Lorna. I'm the HR manager for SoftTube AB. I originally come from England, so I've got some experience in transferring internationally for the company. So I find that really useful in my work. Our main focus is creating software and hardware for musicians, producers, and sound engineers. So it's quite a niche field that we work within. So working internationally allows us to reach skills and knowledge that we might not be able to get from a more local area. So it's great. It's also really important to have varied life and educational experiences within the company. I think it does a lot to enrich the culture. So yeah, it's really great.
Wonderful. And how do you go about when trying to attract these international talents? Do you work a lot with the university here in Linköping, or do you work on an international platform? Tell us.
We work with a number of student groups within the university, which is really useful for keeping talent within the area. We're competing not only with other countries, but also with Stockholm, which is nearby. So it's very helpful to meet the students before they start moving on towards looking for the roles. So yes, that's very helpful. And also a lot of our staff are actually customers first. So internationally, we use our social media to track them.
And do you think there's more that we could do locally or regionally to support this attraction work, or help to support when coming to Sweden? Is there anything that you miss in the process today?
I think a lot of it is about making the hiring process and move to Sweden smooth. So going back to migration, I think it's really important that companies know the best ways to do this. For example, when hiring from outside of the EU, there's a number of third-party companies you can work with, which count as certified employers, which reduces the amount of waiting time for those visas from a number of months to 10 days for initial visa and 20 days for a renewal. So I think making sure that companies are aware of that type of thing is essential, because bringing people over here, the smoother the better. Also accommodation, that's been a real problem in the past, where we've almost lost international staff members because they've not had anywhere to live when they get here. If they don't have a persona number initially, it's almost impossible to find somewhere. I know there is one company working locally with companies like ourselves to help house people, but it's really difficult. But that's something that we've been working on. And I think it's also necessary to bear in mind that when people do move here, not just internationally, but from within Sweden, they don't have any network locally. So the more events there are either within the company ourselves or through the science park for people who've moved to the area to get introduced to one another, I think that's very valuable.
Very good. Thank you so much. And Therese, is there anything that you would like to see more of to strengthen the welcoming of international talent to Linköping and Östergötland?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Lorna. I think migration and these practicalities, this kind of bureaucracy needs to be smoother and be helped with, and accommodation, if the region could facilitate that, would be also very helpful, because that could be an obstacle that could make someone choose somewhere else. And I also think you need to think about accompanying family members like children and the spouse, that if they don't find a meaningful life here, for instance, that your spouse doesn't find a job, or that your child doesn't find a good school or a daycare, then that could also be a big, because the work and the great possibilities we can have within the innovation hubs that we are business-wise, but they also have a social life that needs to be taken care of. So at the university, we have an international staff support for our international staff dealing with these issues with housing and migration and accompanying family members, etc. So I think something similar for other staff coming to the region would be helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. And we look forward to working with this to attract more international talent in the future. And as it is, the remote working have grown during the past year, thanks to the pandemic. So it's about attracting talents to where they want to live. So cities and companies need to be able to offer place and space that are really attractive. And my colleagues, Fredrik and Maja, have met with some of the new workspaces and innovation hubs and companies in Linköping to support this work. Let's look at that.
My name is Niklas. I'm the CEO and founder of DoSpace, which is a co-working company that provides top-notch workplace experience solutions for companies. We've been around for 3 years. Over the last year, we've seen that companies have worked a lot more from home, and we've actually seen a change in the proposals that companies are asking for. They are looking for solutions that can handle a little bit more of flexibility, because many companies see that in the future they think that they will need to have a solution that takes care of the fact that they work from home 1 to 3 days a week. And a lot of companies are looking for a solution that can handle that fluctuation in number of people in the office at the same time. So we've actually seen that a little bit bigger companies are looking towards a solution that we can manage and provide a more flexible solution. So DoSpace Alpha is our newest co-working space here in Linköping. Here we provide a full all-inclusive office with event areas, conference halls, and also, of course, offices and workplace solutions. Well, what we're seeing is that companies are rethinking their property strategies or office strategies. It seems that many companies think that in the future we will work a lot more from home. So companies are looking into how the office needs will have to adapt to that. And that involves a number of things. It involves how effective can the office be? Do we want to have a lot of space that's being unused in the time that people are working from home? But also, do we need to have a desk and a chair in the future, or are the office more a meeting place and a culture, a place for culture support and culture building? So I think that in the future companies will rethink that, and perhaps we will see a little bit more flexible solutions, offices that are more adapt to creative meetings, to creative collaborative work, in regards to the past where we've seen a lot of desks and chairs for focused work. Another thing that we're seeing, or that I think will happen in the future, is that companies, since the physical office will not be as important, they can end the workspace and infrastructure internally in the company is created to facilitate a more remote work that we've all been experienced during the pandemic. More companies will open up the door to recruit and find personnel and competence in other geographical areas than they are today, because you can work remotely from anywhere in the world.
My name is Henrik Kurelid, and I work as the site manager for Access Communications here in Linköping. And I'm fairly new to the job. I've been here for about 2 months now, and it's a really exciting time for us. So Access Communication is a company that provides security solutions throughout the world. We have state-of-the-art, market-leading security camera and systems around that. So here in the office we have quite a number of flexible workplaces, so people can sit in one place one day and another place another day, and that sort of is a good ground for people working more flexible from home one day and at the office another day, etc. And we have quite large areas for the teams, so we can increase the size of the team, decrease them, etc. Without having to rearrange furniture and things like that. So before the corona pandemic, Access did not have that much people working from home in their daily work. But that changed radically during the pandemic, and now we've shifted over to having more or less everyone working from home. And I would say that when the vaccination starts rolling out in larger quantities and people will start to get back to work again, working from the office again, I think we will have a different view of people working from home and working from the office. So there will probably be a much higher degree of mix between the two, I would say. Our location today is in Vallastaden, close to the university. But we are moving offices to the newly built office in Ebbepark, and we are moving into that office in November 2021. So we've been working quite hard with the architects of the new office and designing the sort of interior, where the walls should be, how the room should look like, colors, things like that. So the step we are just entering right now is the actual furnituring of the office. So that's really exciting, and the way we're looking at that is that we're working together with the employees, together with the engineers, to come up with the best interior and the best furnituring for supporting the needs we have, so that we have an office that is actually fit for purpose. Access office in Linköping was started a bit more than 2 years ago and has grown with a good pace the last couple of years. We're now a little less than 40 employees. One really exciting thing with this new office is that it's built and it's going to be sole office for Access. So we're going to have that entire building and it's fit for over 200 people. So we're moving in there with less than 50 employees. So it's really exciting that the headquarters of Access is really investing into the Linköping site in this way. So they foresee a good future with a good growth on the site and on the business. So it's going to be some really exciting years in the future. In 2 years, it will still have that feeling of fresh, new, but still have lots of things going on in the office. You will see lots of team in different team areas working on various projects. You will see people moving around, relaxing in the canteen or in the relaxing area, things like that. You will see people meeting in smaller sort of getaway meeting booths or other actual meeting rooms in the building. So we're trying to find a mix of different type of places where you can meet within the office and supporting both the quiet conversations, but also conversations that it might be good that people overhear, because that might have a positive effect on their work. I think there will of course be differences between different persons. Some people will really like continuing working from home, while others will want to work from the office. I see though that, we would probably need to have a mix of these, because we would need to support the needs of the business and the company, and at the same time supporting the needs of the people. So I foresee a larger mix of working from home, working from the office in the future, especially for Access.
Hi everyone, my name is Linn Lichterman and I work with Sankt Kors as a community manager for Ebbe Park. As a community manager, I'm here to create content like events and seminars that attract people to Ebbe Park. And the reason for that is of course to make people meet in new constellations and across borders. Of course with the intention to stimulate new collaborations and business opportunities. And I also see myself as an ambassador, spreading the word of Ebbe Park and making Ebbe Park an attractive area. And we have already seen actually that companies here in Ebbe Park, they are using it in their employer branding. And I think that's just great to see. 2020 was actually a lot about preparing for the year to come, because it's now in 2021 that we are opening the first new blocks here in Ebbe Park, and we're welcoming a lot of businesses here. So it was an intense year for the construction workers. They had to complete a lot of office space, and we also started construction on 2 new buildings here in Ebbe Park. And then we have this space where I'm standing right now, our showroom here in Ebbe Park. Which we inaugurated during 2020, and now we are really looking forward to be able to invite people here for meetings and events. As a business here in Ebbe Park, you get more than just an office, because you become part of a community and also part of a vibrant neighborhood. Ebbe Park will be a part of Linköping that will be alive almost 24/7 with restaurants, cafes, a gym, a park, events and seminars, and a lot of opportunities to meet other companies. And we can see that for the companies that we are talking to, this is something that really attracts them and also their employees. Well, we have a really exciting year ahead of us. A lot will happen this year, because we are opening the first new blocks here in Ebbe Park, in the first new buildings. Campushallen, they have already opened. And we are looking forward to welcoming companies such as Axis, Maxar, Nordic Biomarker, Linkin and Automat to Everpark. And also, of course, the first residents will move into their apartments. So this is the year that it will happen.
It's wonderful to see that Linköping is really developing new interesting workplaces and innovation hubs. And former in the program, we also heard about Linköping being a hotspot for ICT companies and digitalizations, and often named as the ICT cradle of Sweden. We aim to actually lie in the forefront of technology. And last year, Linköping Science Park have worked very intensely to establish and grow projects and platforms within IoT, AI, and cybersecurity. And I have invited some interesting people here to talk about Linköping as a ICT and digitalization hub. Welcome Magnus Berglund, R&D Manager at the National Agency for Road and Transportation. Niklas Amnebratt, out of picture, but maybe on his way in, business developer at Link 22, and Anders Englund, CEO at Attentec. Welcome. And I would like to start with you, Magnus Berglund. You are the R&D manager at the National Agency of Road and Transportation, and have been very active in the business community and research community in Linköping when it comes to digitalization. You are muted at the moment, but please give us an overview of your reflections about Linköping as an ICT hub.
Just a slight correction. There are several research directors at VTI. I'm a unit manager and I work with transport analysis and logistics. But part of that, I would say that Linköping and the region is a really good area to do research and do fun projects within innovation and general research within my area, which is transportation and logistics, and it comes down to a lot of digitalizations, and we need AI, we need sensors, and we need all these systems to do all the new fun stuff. And in Linköping, that we have a lot of partners that are interested.
You are definitely in a hotspot then.
Yes.
Wonderful. And Niklas Amnebratt, you work at Link 22, and you are muted also. So please tell us a little bit about your perspective on Linköping and digitalization.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Very well. Well, we work in the cyber defense or the cyber security part of the IO. Yeah, whatever. and what I'm going to say is that I have a mathematical degree, so I've been at the university to begin with, and then I came to Link 22, and I started to work as a consultant. So I worked both as a consultant and I've been studying in Linköping. So I think that the communication between the university and the companies, you need both the competence, and in my perspective, we work a lot with, cryptography, and there we need well-educated people, and that we can find in the university. So I think that the combination with well-educated people and Linköping as a growing city in Sweden, and also all of the new companies that you can see here now. Some here today. So I think the combination there is very interesting.
Wonderful. And Anders, you've spent most of your career in Mjärdevi and Linköping Science Park, and is now growing your company, Attentec, a consultancy agency, and very active in IoT and AI. Please give us your experience of the Linköping community.
Well, I think I have sort of a similar view as Niklas has. I think the base is the university and all the competences and skills that you can find at the university. And now the Linköping Science Park has been around for almost 40 years. Actually, I remember when it was built, the first buildings there. But now we have over 400 companies, approximately 7,000 experts in different areas. So I think that is a fantastic network of competencies that you can find that you need in your organization. You can also find partners there that can help you create new solutions when you don't have the skills or the technology. And you can also try out your offerings in some of those companies and maybe see if you can find customers among those. So I think it's a fantastic network to be in to develop new business.
And that really means something because you have quite a good benchmark nationally. You've been engaged in the Swedish INT telecom industry organization. So I know that you know a lot about Sweden in general, but you are working a lot with one of our platforms and projects within IoT, and IoT has been around for a couple of years. And could you tell us something about the trends in IoT now and what you see for the future?
Yeah, that's really interesting. We are approaching 100 IoT projects right now that we develop for our customers. And I see, so there was a first wave of IoT companies. And then the questions or the challenges was how do I make money with this technology? And what kind of solution should I build? And how should I get my customers to accept the new services, the new offerings I have? But then, so we've been working with companies with those issues and those challenges for quite some time. But now we see sort of a second wave of companies. They've already deployed their first applications. Maybe they're into their second or third application using this technology. And then there are new set of questions. The first one is, okay, I have 100 devices connected, maybe 1,000, maybe over 1 million. How do I handle that efficiently? How do I replace one connected unit? How do I operate that system? Also, we see that in large organizations, a lot of IoT solutions pop up, maybe globally, and they don't tend to be developed using the same technology. So it rapidly becomes the CIO's nightmare, how to manage and operate that. So to helping customers to find a global IoT platform for all the different solutions is important. And finally, all those companies collect a lot of data, and we use AI now and machine learning to make them have better use of that data, especially when it comes to data like images, movies, film, text, etc., sound, etc. So that's really exciting, an exciting development to see this second wave of issues coming up.
Yeah, and that's a really good overview also about what happened during the years that I spent in the Science Park. Really interesting. And Magnus, you have been around being part of the IoT World Network, and now you are also through VTI part of the new AI node that we are trying to establish in East Sweden. Could you elaborate a little bit further about what Anders is saying and how you can see us deploying those technologies?
What I'm thinking about is also that we still have a lot of companies and settings that are not that used to IoT or AI. So it's still a big area where we have to have projects that they can use. Like we're looking at the hospitals, and looking about the public companies. So there's still a lot of businesses to start doing IoT and AI projects with. So it's not only the high-end, the complicated stuff. It's also to just get started with data-driven projects.
Yeah, and we heard a lot of people talking today about collecting the data and now taking it into new business models. Are you part of that job to support new business models on data-driven projects?
Of course, a lot of the things that we work with VTI is about getting companies and understanding how we should create knowledge for research through these new tools that are available. What can we do with sensors that can scan the complete infrastructure? What can we do with that? What kind of applications or research or knowledge can we create from these new tools?
And as part of the new AI East Sweden node, what do you hope to achieve, and who would you like to see join the AI node?
From my perspective, which is a simple logistics person and interested in transport, I see there is a lot of things that we could do with road infrastructure, with transportation, with logistics, if we have more data, and we could create such much more value for different kind of application. It could be for the city, or it could be for the owner of a car. There's a lot of things that we can do with the collection of data that comes from traffic and transportation.
Thank you very much. Moving over to Niklas, all these sensors out there collecting all the data, you really need to think about security and safety, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can say that. You know, you talked a lot about cars, connected communities. In the end, you know, all of Linköping can be connected to the internet. I think that around 3 billion people are using the internet right now, and everyone cannot be connected all of the time. So I think that we will meet some problems when everyone is connected, and of course, when we're talking about cars, for as an example, you know, you can connect all the cars to the internet, but what happens when you find a hacker that could hack 50% of the cars, making them killing machines? It's a big problem that's going to create a lot of jobs, and I think that we are only in the beginning of that era of the internet. So
and Link 22 has been part of an initiative that's been arose by Linköping Science Park, where we have tried to raise awareness about potential cyber attacks and hacker attacks of various kinds. We have a lot of innovation companies surrounding the science park, so we are really eager to promote security and safety, to secure your data and your businesses in a wise way. You've been part of this process, educating young companies and innovative companies. Could you tell us something about that?
I think, yeah, from my perspective, it's more about risks and the risks that company is facing when they create their businesses, around information leaks and you know, for example, if you take a hacker that could get into your company and steal some information, you can see a big percentage of the companies that has been hacked is then removed from the market in say six months. So the information leaked in the beginning is not that you cannot see it directly, but on the long term it's a cost that could be brutal to the company. So yeah.
That's good to bear in mind, and I also know the business consultants at LEAD try to inspire the startups as we try to inspire the scale-ups to really secure their business. So we can see that IoT, AI, and cybersecurity are really closely related. If we look into the future, what trends do you see, and are there any more emerging technologies that we should have in our horizon and take care of in Linköping? Anders?
I think if you look at the studies of companies studying future technologies, they say that there is one common factor, and that's AI. So I think that's where you should look at how you can, if you look at how, for example, Amazon uses AI to operate their centers of delivery. It's amazing. They use it in all different aspects to make them so as efficient as possible.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. And we are really trying to gather all the business community of Linköping and the whole region to join into the East Sweden AI node. If I would ask you, Anders, is there anything you would like to see us do to promote AI to get a better readiness within the companies? What should we do?
Well, that's hard. I think it's good to promote good usage of the good examples. I think are always the best. We market AI by sharing our skills and our experience to companies around in Sweden and Norway. So we try to make our effort in that way. So you can also help there.
Wonderful. Magnus, what do you see coming ahead?
Well, I would just say basically the same as Anders. It's all about the usage and the business value, and to promote AI and on all technologies is more or less to show what we can do and what value that creates for people and companies. A lot of big data, a lot of AI, machine learning, or whatever we call it. It's a lot about digitalization in all its forms.
Any companies that you would like to join in projects in East Sweden that you would like to reach out to?
There's a lot of them, so I don't think I should specify any specific.
Everyone that has an interest in digitalization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. And Niklas, what are your prospects for the future?
I think as well that AI is going to be big, and that we cannot be scared about AI. Not even us working in the information security business. We need to embrace it and just do the best of what is coming.
That's a really good opinion. So thank you very much for sharing your view. What has been trending for quite a few years is corporate innovation. Big companies that want to talk to startups to get in touch with new technology, new business models, and new consumer trends. There's an initiative in Sweden called Ignite that since the start in 2017 have matchmaked more than 4,000 meetings, and they actually did their first matchmaking event here in Linköping during the Innovation Parliament that was held here in May 2017. And this fall, they came here again, and we did a mutual event called the Sweden-Germany Collaboration Days. And you will meet Joachim Delbom from SICK EVP to share his experience from this event.
My name is Joachim Delbom. I am the CEO of SICK IVP here in Linköping. SICK is a global supplier of sensors and sensor solutions for automation and digitalization of the industry. SICK is present worldwide with 10,000 employees, and with a turnover of 1.7 billion euro, we are one of the leading actors in the business. Here at SICK IVP, we have the Innovation Center for Machine Vision. This means that we develop sensors and solutions based on camera technology and image processing software and machine learning software. So we were invited to this event as one of the German enterprises. And I think that this event really exemplifies the core idea of this science park. To provide opportunities for startups and to facilitate networking between companies, big and small companies. So when we got this question, we were immediately interested, but to be able to represent the entire SICK company group, I wanted to make sure that I had a commitment also from the corporate level to be able to really match all the opportunities to real needs and gaps in the entire organization. We managed to get this buy-in from the person at the corporate level who is responsible for technology scouting worldwide. And so he joined also this event. And by having secured this, I immediately said yes to this. Primary expectation for this was to see if we can find matches between the startups, of course, and gaps that we have in the company in terms of technology, etc., and find ways to collaborate between SICK and some of the startups. I should admit also that personally I had another expectation for this, and that is to internally market Sweden and this region to influential people at the at the SIC corporate level in order to promote our region and the possibilities for further investments here. So we participated in this event with representatives from locally here at SIC IVP and also from the headquarters, from the corporate level. At the event, which was very well organized, we met with 10 startups in the speed dating sessions. Very interesting, all of them. Out of these 10, we actually continued with in 8 cases to match the startup towards the appropriate department or people within the SIC group. And for some cases, we have found out that there was not really a match, and the cases have been closed. But for a good number, we are still having discussions, and some of them could potentially lead to some collaboration in the future. So in the discussions with these startups, we see different possibilities. So in some cases, actually, the startups have a need for a product or something else in our offering that we can provide. In some cases, they have technology that is interesting for us that can bridge a gap that we have in our own technology portfolio. So there are a variety of different possibilities. SIC IVP started out as a small company based on 2 persons already in '85. So we were at that point one of the first startups actually establishing in the park. And I would say the reason why we are still here and successful and still manage to get further investment from the SIC group is the availability of world-class competence. And I think that this will also be valid for the years to come, that the supply of competence and talent in the region is really crucial, and also the reason why I think we are so perfectly situated here in the Science Park in Linköping.
So beautiful words coming from Joachim Delbom at SIC IVP. And so he talked a lot about corporate innovation, and we will talk more about corporate innovation and linked also to the trend that is called open innovation. And last year, another initiative were taken here in the region of East Sweden by the 4 international industry corporates that we have: Siemens Energy, Saab Aeronautics, Toyota Material Handling Europe, and Väderstad, where we could link those 2 processes. And I have a great panel of new people with me to discuss this. It's Hans Larsson, Innovation Manager at Toyota Material Handling Europe, Jacob Way, co-founder and CEO at Glitchy, and Inger Stan, who is the Product Manager of Index. Welcome. So let's begin with you, Hans. You are muted now. There you go. Please tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea and why you wanted to be part of this open platform that we call Index.
The idea comes from that we have a need to engage with startups, and we said why not start to dig in our backyard, which is Linköping, where we have a lot of activity, we have a lot of good university activities and a profile that suits us well. And then we said doing this by ourselves it takes a lot of efforts, and if you're going into an uncertain environment, it's really difficult to take a decision like that. But then we talked to Siemens, Saab, and Väderstad and found out that they actually sit on a similar need, and we could share that investment and also share the competences that sits in different organizations to start initiative and prove well.
I love that you use the term share, because I know that you are very positive in engaging in mutual projects and sharing knowledge and information that are not like business secrets, but that you could do mutual projects together to become better as companies by your own. So what expectations did you have when we launched the initiative last year?
That's a difficult question. We had a thought that this would work, and we had a thought that there might be a few startups out there. So we put a number that we said, okay, if we reach this number, it would be a decent result, and then we can improve for next year. But I think the result exceeded our expectations by far, by 2 or 3 times, and that was very impressive. So I wouldn't say shocked, but surprised at least.
Yeah, so we made an open call for startups to join the program called Index 2021, and it was in early September. And we had no less than 73 applications that turned into 10 chosen companies. And one of the companies that were not only chosen, but also made it to the finals and got a funded pre-study project were Glitchy. So Jacob, please tell us, how did you find Index and what made you apply?
Yeah, well, we actually I was recommended by our business coach at our incubator, Stockholm Innovation and Growth Sting, who recommended kind of the whole setup for it. And we are a company that develops virtual reality training solutions specifically towards big industry companies. And one of the key challenges that we are having, one of the key obstacles, is finding the right people at these big companies and in the right kind of context where they are able to step into an innovation project and actually test technology that might seem a little bit scary and new to them. So for us, the whole setup with this kind of idea that you already have a dedicated amount of resources to an innovation project, not least these different types of companies are highly interesting to us. The whole setup was very much matching our probably our biggest challenge as a startup company.
And going through the process, I mean, we had a pitch day, you filmed the pitches, and then we had an open call for ideas, idea generation, and then a conceptualization day. What experiences and learnings do you take with you from this process?
Well, I mean, I'm jumping in now last second for our brilliant commercial director, Vanya, who is one leading, and she's the one who deserves all the credit for making this work. But I was listening a little bit, and I think the whole process was quite smooth in the sense that it was very transparent and open. It's this type of no bullshit approach where you're pitching to each other, startups and big companies, and if you're not interested, then it's very clearly stated from the very beginning, so we're not wasting any time. So I think the whole concept of being quite transparent and direct was incredibly valuable to not spend massive amounts of time just talking, but actually getting to the points. And I think quite early on, we discovered that there is a couple of interesting connection points. We are doing a project together with Saab now, and we've also spoken with both Toyota and Siemens Energy as well about potential projects for the future. But they are interested in kind of observing what happens with the Saab project to begin with, which I think is a great idea, because having the industry companies collaborating at looking at this new type of technology also saves us a whole bunch of effort in terms of having to teach and educate each one of them. So I think the whole process has been very efficient and smooth.
Must be sounding like music to your ears, Inger, who have been managing the whole process. And I know you were quite excited when you took on this assignment, and a bit scared as well, I think. What are your experience and learnings from the fall?
A bit scared, yes. Yeah, we can summarize very positive experiences from the contacts that I have had during the process. And I'm happy to hear what Jakob just said, because I think that one of the keys to the success that we had was that we tried to make things quite easy. Everything from the way to apply, support to pitch in a clear and similar way for the startups. up to how the employees were involved in the process, the employees of the partner companies. I don't say it was easy, but we tried to make it as easy as possible. So except from the 73 applications we received, I'm also very impressed of the commitment from the partner companies' employees. There is a huge power of innovation within those companies. It's really interesting to observe the fantastic idea generation when brilliant minds comes together. And of course, we also experienced that the process can be developed for the better. It is a complex process that you very quickly described that can be even more clear and straightforward. So 2021 will be very exciting. We reached internationally already last year. Applications came from, for example, the Netherlands, UK, and Israel. But this year we will continue to work reaching international startups.
Wonderful. Could you share some more plans for the upcoming year?
Yes, Index will come back 2021. We have agreed on the time schedule and we have already started to discuss focus areas for this year. We will also share the experiences from the proof of concept project that are running right now. We will do that during a conference the 2nd of June to an audience of employees of the partner companies and all the 10 startups that participated last year. We will then take the opportunity to discuss with the partner companies about future position and challenges, and hopefully this will even more strengthen the position of Östergötland as Sweden's deep tech and industrial region.
Wonderful. And Hans, what expectations do you have for the future of Index?
No, I think we have an expectation that we started out well. We should build on that. We should not really rush into something, but build it in a very Toyota way, Kaizen, and stepwise make it more solid, expand it outside Sweden, maybe get more companies in or startups in and so on. So I think we have a good solid body here, and the expectation is that we can grow it and get more and more out of it as we go.
Wonderful. And Jacob, would you recommend any of your startup colleagues in Sting and Stockholm to join the process for next year? Or maybe you will do it once over again.
Yeah, no, we're not going to recommend it because then we're going to have so much competition. No, but of course, I mean, I think for any company facing these type of big industry clients, either as partnerships or whatever you might be looking for, I think this is a great forum.
And I think it summarizes also Sweden's heritage of great collaboration between corporates and startups that have laid the foundation for Sweden being the innovative country that we are. So we are very much looking forward to take the Index concept to the next step. So thank you very much for joining in. And of course, we have talked about new businesses, startups, scale-ups. We have talked about the digitalization, about how to foster talent and how to offer great workspaces and places. But everything starts with the people, and we need to foster the talents of tomorrow. And one of the great initiatives that we have in our region is called Code Summer Camp. And my colleague Anna Broders is here to tell us more about the summer camp.
Hi, my name is Anna Broders. I work as a community and employer branding manager at Linköping Science Park. And in my role, I partly work with attracting talents to the companies in the Science Park or supporting the companies in the Science Park to attract talent. Code Summer Camp is an initiative that we have been working with since 2015. And this is a way of working with competence in IT in a bit more long term. The youngest kids that participate are 7, and the oldest are 17. And at the camp, we really want to inspire the participants in coding and give them tools to program things they want. Like I said, we started 2015, and at the first camp we had around 40 kids, and since then it's been growing. So 2019 we had 120 kids participating at the camp. And at the camp the kids work with programming like Scratch, HTML and CSS and Unity, as well as Python. We end each day and each week with a presentation where the kids can present what they've been doing. And I think that's the biggest achievements every time, because it's so impressive how much they learn, how they can use their creativity by building games or apps or web pages with the tools we give them. And this is really from the smallest, who are 7, to the oldest, who are 17. It's really, really impressive. The coaches at the camp are students from Linköping University, so it's also a way to give students at the university interesting and relevant summer job. We realized in, I think it was March, that it's hard to get a physical camp where 120 kids meet due to the pandemic and the restrictions. So we had to rethink about how we could still create this opportunity to inspire kids in programming. So we switched and made a totally digital camp instead. And when we did that, we also realized that if we make it digital, we can give more kids the chance to participate. So from 120 spots, we upsized the camp to 400 spots. We used different digital tools, partly Zoom.
Hej Valencia, hör du mig?
For the big meetings where we had all the kids at the same time, but also they met their coaches in smaller groups of kids of 20. We also use Discord for the more social communication. And one thing I was really afraid of when we switched from physical camp to a digital camp was that after the evaluations from the physical camp, we really saw that the participants found people, like-minded people and friends. And I was afraid that this was something that would get harder if we did it digital. So therefore the Discord, for example, was really important. And looking at the evaluation from this year was that they still find it like-minded people. We also used a startup from LEAD, the business incubator, which calls ClassQ, which is a digital classroom. So we pilot tested it during the camp. It's really nice to, like in these kind of projects, work together with startups to get their input and their eyes on our project, but also vice versa, so we can help them out with like real-time testing. We have been thinking about this year. Of course, I think still a physical camp is a really good way of doing this project. But thinking about where we are right now in the pandemic, we decided to have a totally digital camp. Also very happy to have Skill as the company Skill as a partner who will now be the producer of the camp. And like the last years, we have been funding this camp with crowdfunding from companies. So I'm very happy to announce that today we opened a crowdfunding for this year's Code Summer Camp. So at our webpage, linköpingsciencepark.se/summercamp, you find more information. And I think really the power in a crowdfunding campaign is that every company can help with the amount of money they find is manageable for them. So I hope we can create this camp together this year. Power in a crowdfunding campaign is that everybody.
Excellent way to join our community and work together with us to foster the talents of tomorrow. Joining for the crowdfunding project to support this year's camp, Code Summer Camp, that will take place during 3 weeks, and we are open to doing a national summer camp this year. So We've heard a lot of representatives talk about our municipality and our region and the businesses working from Linköping and Östergötland. And with me to summarize this program, I have Pia Karlgren, who is the CEO of East Sweden Chamber of Commerce. And let's see if we can have your camera on, Pia, and your microphone. Welcome. So let's see if we have Pia with us. Pia, are you there? So there you are. Welcome. Welcome into the program. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Let's see. Hello. Welcome to join. And it's been a very long program, 2.5 hours almost. And is there anything, Pia, that you heard during this afternoon that made you a bit extra proud or caught your interest as a East Swedener?
Well, of course, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, great. Well, of course, there's a lot of things that could make you proud, and of course also strengthen the image and the picture you have yourself about this part of Sweden. So one thing is the how strong we are in building a great community where we work together, and the cooperation. I think the winning parts of the world are the one that is very good in co-working and connecting people, an old slogan, but I think that is really something that would be that is great for this part of Sweden, that we're good at that, and that would be a strong factor for us for the future.
And that's a great takeaway, I think. If we stay just exploring the strength of our region and the capabilities that we have that will build our competitiveness in the future, what else would you like to add to that picture from your horizon?
Well, there are several things. Of course, that we are good at specific future areas within the tech building, but also I think that, I mean, the world are always developing, and also we are developing when it comes to our mind and our ideas and what we think is important for the future and for the society. And I think within this area, we have both come a long step forward when it comes to sustainability and what kind of society we would like to build together. And that in combination with technical areas with new technical solutions that we combine them in a good way, so that the mind and the ideas that we would like to create, we also manage to do and put to reality with the help from new technique, and that is the people who does that.
That's a really good point, and I'm really glad that you shared that view, because we need to bring people together to make the clear vision of the future society. And I totally agree with you that we have so many strength areas within food, tech, agriculture, energy, life science and medtech, which we heard today, and many other areas, and that the technology is more supporting what we want to achieve, the vision of the future society, more than deploying technology for itself. So I totally agree with that. And do you have any ideas on how we can do that even more?
Yes, a small question. Well, I think it was one thing that we work as a Chamber of Commerce is, of course, to louden out the voice of the companies and the business community when it comes to policy changes, and also so the politicians and the government and also local government, how we could support each other in making it easier to do this transformation. So in sometimes the regulations can stop or at least make it harder to do those changes, and we need to change that so that everything supports the good progress that we would like to see together.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the representatives in the different panels actually have mentioned regulation, legislation, policies and frameworks as challenges to grow their business or attract international talent or deploy new technology in different ways. I think that's something we really need to support further. Is there any challenges that you besides regulations and policies that you think we as a region need to confront or work extra hard on to stay competitive and to grow competitiveness as a region?
Well, I think that we need to, I mean, we are good at things, but we can't sort of lay back, and we need to be very active in continuing working with the good relations between like the university and the business community. That is one thing, but also like infrastructural questions, like we need to have a lot of, we need to have continue building out the railway system so that we connect with other regions in Sweden, but also with Europe. And we need to have a good use. We use more and more energy, so we need to have the infrastructure to get the good energy supply that we can do these changes that we need in a sort of a bigger
context
system view. Yeah, so these are two things, but also I think that we could be even better in internationalization to dare to go on an international market with our companies.
If I take one point at a time, because they are all very interesting, but when we talk about collaboration and putting together the innovation support system, but also connecting companies with academia and society. We are a growing region, so this gets more and more complex. So I think what you're saying is also that we need to think even more as a systematic change and systematic growing our region. Is that right? Would you?
Yes, I think so. In a way, we have been smaller before, and that's also as you grow as a company, you need to sort of manage to grow. And of course, a region have the same matters to work with. If you're bigger, then maybe you need to take other type of decisions and sort of organize yourself in different ways. So that I think is an important issue, but still we need to continue growing.
Yeah, and transportation, I mean, it's been quite an extraordinary year, pandemic, not so many flights moving out from Linköping or Norrköping, and also the railway, I mean, and the public transportation, of course, has been suffering. What do you see future-wise? I mean, people work more and more remote. Many people are they are moving up to the north of Sweden to ski alongside working days. What do you think the future will look like in Sweden?
Well, I think that we still would like to meet each other, and I think that some of the people joining me today has also told us that will still be very important, but maybe in different ways. And I think that this has opened up also the possibilities if you could join from different parts of Sweden and still work with the exciting companies around the globe, and also of course in Linköping. But still we need to work with the place and to be attractive as a place, and to live well, to offer the lifestyle that the young people and also all the people are looking for. So the attractiveness of the region is of course very important for us when it comes to attract talent and grow people-wise.
So the good life is something that we should explore further.
Yes,
and
life and the connected life, of course.
Yes. And the third point that you mentioned, sorry, what was that? It was.
No, I mentioned like energy supply. Okay. Since we are changing the ways that we are running companies and that we are running the cities and the society, we need to be able to have access to to energy supply that is also fossil free and stable, and that is an issue that actually we need to work for to be able to have that in the whole of Sweden.
And Linköping also has this goal to become carbon neutral by 2025, which is a really ambitious goal. But I know the whole region have a lot of clean tech competence, so I think we could really contribute. Looking ahead a little bit more, what opportunities do you think lie ahead that we should really embrace them and explore?
Oh, wow.
Another small question.
Yes, I do love the headline, and what about the future? Because I like the future, and I rather look forward than backward. But well, I don't know if I have any better answer on that than anyone else here. But I think that we are really in a good position, but we really need to work active to continue having that good position. So we should embrace all the new technologies that we see is around here, and also continue with this system building that we already have, but that we need to scale up. So we need to scale up to be able to meet the scale-ups, so to speak.
True. And we have some really interesting projects that are being explored at the moment. We have, for instance, like a drone flight between Norrköping and Linköping that we are looking into. We have the autonomous buses at Campus Falla, Linköping University. We are also looking towards how to handle garbage in an autonomous way. So this is some of the more systematic changes that could improve life in East Sweden.
Yes. Of course, and what I would like to say is also, of course, that we need to connect with the surroundings and the community surrounding us, and of course, the whole Sweden. But we do have interesting establishments with new companies. Also in, for instance, Nyköping now, there is a big establishment with a new company, Bosal, that is a Dutch company. So all those kind of things is also very important, of course, to broaden the community.
Yeah, we heard some great examples during this afternoon for that. So is there any closing remarks that you would like to make before we end this session that comes to mind? Or?
Well, I think that we are doing a good job, so we should continue doing that. I don't have any better ending word than that we should continue to do a good job and be very active and forward
thinking. So, and we are very happy to have such an active Chamber of Commerce in East Sweden doing such a great work. So thank you very much, Pia, for sharing your reflections. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank everyone who participated in the program, everybody who's been following us on the live stream for almost 2.5 hours. And also my colleagues, Fredrik Larsson, Maja Mjörling, and Hugo Samuelsson, who have been behind the scenes making this event possible. Thank you very much for that. It's all teamwork. So thank you very much. And please make sure to contact us here in East Sweden and join in on all the different projects and initiatives, and our community is always open for you. So thanks for hanging around with us, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.